Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Angel of Words podcast, where your stories are heard. I am your host, Angel of Words, and before we get started, don't forget to click on that notification bell on YouTube. Like, follow, comment, share these messages for us. It's important. You could also follow us on Spotify as well. They have video now, and Spotify takes care of us. So if you're a Spotify subscriber, definitely follow us on there and all podcast platforms. Our sponsors today are OTW Threads, Out of This World Threads, reminding you to be out of this world, and AttitudeOn10.com, your place to start getting over your trauma and build resilience. Folks, if you want to start your own podcast and you want to get your voice heard and you don't know what to purchase, click down below in the description. We got what you need there. All the links are there to get you started on what you on your vision for your podcast. And we also have shortly, we will be releasing training videos on how to get your own start, how to get your podcast started in just one day, and actually with no money at all. So, stay tuned to that. Also, the exclusive merch like this cup right here. Pretty dope, huh? You could catch that. And also the blog at AOWENT.com. Now on deck on the Angel of Words podcast, we have music producer, audio engineer, Bleu Wavs. Bleu Wavs finally made it up to the studio. What's going on? It's a pleasure to have you. It really is.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Of course. All about manifestation.
Sure.
We met we didn't meet at the Apollo. I saw you on a panel at the Apollo. And I was reading your bio. You had the longest bio out of everyone on that sheet. So I'm like, man, this person is very interesting. I asked you a question. You know what I'm saying? Did you get the podcast out or not yet? Did you start on that or not yet?
Not yet.
All right, so that's coming soon.
Yeah,
But I thought you were super interesting, and I had to get you on here, and thank you for pulling up. So that's really dope. So things can, you go to these things, you think that you can't make things happen, but look, if you're about your business and the people on those panels see that you're doing, because I'm sure that's what you saw. You know what I mean? Like, it's not about tuning my home torn. It's that I work hard, and I wanted you to get on here because I want to pick your brain because you're at levels that I want to reach. You know what I'm saying? Eventually.
Right.
And, it's great to have you on here. So thank you so much, man. Honestly.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
The energy is flowing in here today.
Well, we got the crystals on deck. You know what I'm saying? Attitude on 10, baby. Get in where you fit in. Go to the website. You know what I mean? Energy is a big deal. Definitely here on the Angel of Words podcast. We feel like with that. And you brought that big Bronx energy. Shout out to TDI Music, who coined the phrase. You know what I mean? You brought that Bronx energy. And by the way, folks, as you know, we always have a surprise here. We have a musical guest today, a person that's been on before, and he sang a cappella, and I told him, you got to pull up with your big Bronx energy and sing that dope song that you did here a cappella live. So we got Bony NYC singing Tóxica, because that sex is on fire. I can't wait. So here, we're going to go with the podcast, though. Now, all the pleasantries have started. I want to talk about this. There's a lot to unravel. You are an onion. So let's talk about there's 4% of women that are female producers in the Billboard charts, according to NPR Radio, right? How do you feel about that? Because that to me is like a crazy low number. 4% in 2022?
Yeah.
You're the largest consumers of music, but you don't make it.
Right. It's definitely a boys' club, but it's an experience. There are plenty of very talented female producers out there that I know of, and it's sad because we should be represented more in the industry and what's going on right now with music and the culture of music and the wave in which it's going right now. But there's also a lot going on the low, too, that women are a part of. So even though we may not be at the forefront, we are in the room.
Well, that's good. I'm glad because I saw that 4%. I was like, it's dire. And something I also don't like, you know what I'm saying? That the sexism in the game is just like, it's just ridiculous. I mean, I hope that it changes, and I'm sure that it will. But, I was watching one of your YouTube clips, right? you were introduced in that YouTube clip as one of the dopest female producers. And my thing is like, yo, a producer, you know, it's not like sports where like it's unfortunate that right now the athleticism of a woman to a man isn't like the same.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But that's just, you know, right now it's biological. Who knows? That may change over the course of science and the years that progress. But being a producer, making music, to me, you're just a producer. You're not a female producer. You're not a, you know, a transgender producer. You're not a male producer. You're just a producer. How does that make you feel?
The interesting part about it is that I'm very fair when it comes to things that people say, especially like that. And my perception when I hear it is like it's like a double, like great. So it's like she's not just a producer; she's a female producer. Like she's rare. Like this is the unicorn, you know, as opposed to like, oh, you know, the girl producer over there. You know, it's more of like a unicorn status. I like it.
Okay, so you with it?
Yeah, I'm with it.
You with the shits, as the young kids say.
I'm in the room. Listen, everybody can feel how they want to feel, but I'm in the room.
That's what's up. All right, so you don't take, you know, that you don't feel any type of way by it. You go over there, you're like, yo, it is what it is. Yup, that's right. I'm dope, and I'm that chick right now, and you listen up.
That's it.
That's what's up. All right, cool. So I feel the vibe. All right, bet. Now, I met you at the Apollo. Mm-hmm. How did that come about, man? That's dope because, you know, it was my first time there.
At the Apollo?
At the Apollo. And I'm from Harlem. It's a shame that I say it, but I don't cap. Obviously, I'm not wearing one today. You know what I'm saying? But like, it was my first time there. Unfortunately, I was never taken on school trips over there. You know, I've always watched Showtime at the Apollo. I always knew what the Apollo was about, even before Steve Harvey. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I remember watching it with my Pop Dukes and seeing great talent on there. And I know the legendary history of the Apollo, but it was my first time in the building. How did you get wrapped up in being on the panel in that building as a producer?
So it's really funny, even how before the whole situation came about and how it came about. My mom actually worked like 2 doors down from the Apollo at what used to be a clinic. She like managed it. So I've always been like right down the block and always been encouraged by it and knowing the legends that have been there and stuff like that. So it just so happened that Amadeus, the host of that particular Apollo panel, he reached out to me and I met him at a beat battle that I ranked first place in. So once again, like you said before, you never know with being in one room how it's going to affect you being into another room, and another room, and another room. So I was in a beat battle in 2019, the iSTANDARD beat battle, and I won first place. Amadeus was my judge, and I actually got him to stand up during my set. And the funny part about even with him is that I had met him previously, and it was one of those like in the fly situations where you like try to talk to a person and like, oh, I don't really have the time, you know, I'll talk to you another time. And then I saw him again. So that's like the divinity of it. So I saw him at this beat contest and I blew it out the water. And from that point on, we grew a relationship. We started networking with each other. He started like sending me different things to look into. And we just always kept up with each other, always supporting him and all the things that he has going on. And one day he was like, hey, I want you to be a part of this panel at the Apollo. And the rest was history.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope. So what was going on at this beat battle? You know, tell the audience that. And I'm sure there's footage. I think there is, if I'm not mistaken.
Most
but I want you to
definitely.
explain it from your eyes. Like, how was it? You know, how was it judged? Like, what were you doing? You know, for the producers out there that are listening that may have never heard of these kind of situations.
So shout out to Jay Hatch, but he's the one who hosted the beat battle. And basically, it's a format where each producer puts together a set of tracks to play. It can either be 3 to 4 tracks, or it could be a 1 by 1, like round by round. So I started off with, if I'm not mistaken, like 1 full track, and then I went round by round. Like I had a full set and then back to back to back to back. So it was like me and like 8 other producers, and it was different. It's one of those situations where you have to create beats for producers. Like it's not really like a consumer kind of event. It's like for the producers. It's about how sharp are your skills, how smooth are your transitions, like how good are your sounds, how tapped in are you to like what's really going on in music right now. So it's like really a different world compared to like the consumer world of making beats and producing for artists.
Wow. That sounds crazy. So you're basically making a beat from scratch on the spot? Or
And not exactly.
not exactly. Okay.
But you put you beforehand, they let you know like how many songs they may want you to do in a set or in each I would say level. So you would battle against a person. So if it's 8 of us, they'll do like 2 and 2 and 2 and 2. And then from there, they'll do another 2 and 2 and 2 and 2. But you'll do like 1 beat each. And then at the end, it'll be like, all right, play your best. Like, let's see, like, if it gets that far, like we going beat for beat. But the thing about it is you have to have everything set up ahead of time. So it's really like sitting down, choosing your best beats, making sure you have your best transitions, the things that make people like awe about beats, you know, those climaxes and all those things. It becomes a show. It's like a show of your beats.
That's official.
Very.
Are there elongated videos of this on YouTube?
I'm sure.
Okay,
like,
yeah, because I wasn't able to,
yeah.
but you know what I'm saying, like, with the podcasting and a lot of, the just the whole business going on, like I wasn't able to really go into the rabbit hole, and I wish I would have found it. But I'm sure there is out there, so I'll look for it, definitely, because that just sounds insane.
Yeah,
That must have been bugged out. How's the pressure? How'd you feel, man? How do you handle that kind of pressure? That's nuts.
You know what it is? It's one of those situations once again where I'm just being present. I don't know who's gonna have what. Everybody's talented, everybody's gifted, everybody's been in the game, and everybody has their view of their music. And all you can do is just play, I'm a very emotion-based producer, so I thought to myself, what would provoke the most, invoke the most emotion. And that's how I came up with my set.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I love it. Definitely going to look for those videos online. Now, you mentioned something that was extremely important, the sounds, right? Because if you're a producer or anyone that's listening right now, if you don't know what sounds is, producers look for sounds in different frequencies that will invoke emotion. Am I off base here?
Not at all. You are right on point.
Do I know what I'm talking about?
You know exactly what you're talking about.
And you have to really search through those sounds. There's waves, there's Envato, there's just a plethora of different locations online where you can go and search for packets and well, they're not called packets, they're called like, what's the word? Oh my God.
Yeah, beat packs.
Yeah, beat packs, right? Yeah, the beat packs where you find these sounds from all over the world to make unique beats. That's why music keeps evolving.
Right.
How much time do you spend doing that as a producer?
Whew.
And how important is it?
Sometimes I may want to create and I'll just use my entire time just searching out new sounds. And I'm not specific to like any one culture or any like category of sound. It's more so when I play it, they're mostly like samples and stuff like that, like how it makes me feel. So if it makes me feel a way, then I know there's something I can do with it. And I really like guitars and piano ballads and stuff like that. But once again, if it makes me feel some type of way, I'm gonna add it to the collection.
Now, Blue, to be honest with you, I mean, how you get inspired, because, music has transformed so much. Yes, now everything is digital, but with the digital wave comes all this information, all these sounds. Do you ever get overwhelmed? Because you can get lost 2, 3, 4 days just looking for the right sounds, and you may even lose motivation to even want to make a song. Does that happen to you? Or could you discuss that creative process as a producer?
So when I first like got into the groove of like producing a lot, that's like one of the things that I used to suffer from, because once again, trying to find sounds can really be overwhelming. It can take away from where you want to go with the track. It can make you lose the beat, So what I learned is give yourself a base, and if you want to change it later, then you could change it later. But that's the other thing about like getting into music production and like the engineering of things, because if you know how to really like engineer a sound, like if you really know how to edit a sound, you can turn it into whatever you need. You don't have to search for it. So it goes back to your skill set. It goes back to, getting to the nit grit of sound. It could be, oh, I want a specific clap. You can't find the clap that you want. Okay, well, I know I wanted to, have a bright side to it. So you take off the low end and you edit it how you need to edit it. But that's basically how I got through it. I just started doing sound modulation and changing sounds.
Did you go to school to learn about sound modulation, or is it something you YouTube? Like, because that takes a lot of work, to make it wetter, to make it drier. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? When you talk, and these are obviously technical terms, but you could hear it when you're working on these, on your beats. Like, did you go to school for this? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how did you learn how to, or is it just something you just trial and error? Like, I just want to know how you learned to do that.
So I never went to school for it, but it was just one of those type of things that, I don't know, my ears are finely tuned. I don't know how to explain it except for it being a gift from God. My ears just know. Like, my ears just know. And as I got deeper into production, I actually met my mentor, Oscar Acevedo, and he taught me how to apply what I felt with the actual engineering of it. So, a wet sound or a dry sound, what that really means. Attack, decay, sustain, release, what that really means. All of those different things, because I knew how to do it. I didn't know what was the technical explanation for it. My ears just knew. So with having Oscar by my side, he basically tailored me into production and showed me like a whole different way of doing things, and starting with audio first, not even production, audio first, sound first, clarity first, in manipulation, and then moving into production.
How much time do you think you've put into all of this, to learning all of this?
More than 10,000 hours. Well past 10,000.
Yeah, I heard
maybe.
that, folks. Yo, being a
Yeah.
producer is no joke.
Yeah.
It's no joke. And then you have jokers not wanting to pay for these beats. Let's talk about it.
It's scary.
You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about it.
As a producer, you sacrifice a lot of time. A lot of times people, get to go out and do this and do that. And we spend most of our days and our times either at home making beats or in the studio. There aren't any parties, there aren't any outings. Sometimes you're missing birthday parties and important things. And, the respect isn't there when it comes to, purchasing. But that's also because of the saturation. That's also because of the lack of respect, unfortunately, within the genre. So.
Which genre? There's a bunch of genres, though, of music. You think
No.
that is it specific to one genre of music? You think it's just specific to music as a general whole?
I feel like it's much harder with like hip hop and R&B because I don't know, it's just like the conversation that had came up. I don't know if you guys had seen it, but LL Cool J had spoke on putting respect on the elders of the genre and of the craft that like led the way. And because like hip hop is like now a very mainstream genre, it's like
rock and roll was in the 60s and 70s.
Right.
And the 50s even, yeah.
It becomes well, everybody loves it, so anybody can do it. And yes, to a point, yeah. But the reason why hip hop was able to grow as it grew is because of the passion, the energy behind it. You don't want to lose sight of the energy. You don't want it to just be sounds. So I feel like some people understand that. Artists that are really in tune with their sound, that know their sound and, really have developed who they are as an artist, they do respect that. They respect the fees. They understand the splits and everything. But it's, other artists that really aren't in it and really aren't in it for the right reasons. They may not know their why. They don't see the value of the producer.
Do you just work with anybody, Blue? Like when it comes to working with an artist, like what do you look for? Because it seems like this is very important to you. You've put in over 10,000 hours. Like I feel like you just don't let anyone just step in the studio with you. What do you have to have as an artist, and how do they need to approach you in order to even get a chance to be in the studio with you?
So It's mainly about how you are as an artist and how serious you are about your craft, how passionate you are about your craft. There's a lot of people I meet and they want me to check out their music and check out their stuff. And I get to their social media and there's no music in sight. So, how serious do you take your craft? How much of a priority is it? And those are the things that I go off of. Not only that, if an artist is adamant about working with me, I'll set up a studio session and let them run through their music and just gauge where they are. Like, are you making music because this is something that you care about, or are you making this because what emotion are you trying to invoke? Do you know? Because not everything is going to be serious. You party. Sometimes every music is a whole different set of emotions. So I like to see where the artist is and how direct they are with their message in their music. But it's passion that really takes me. Like, once I see an artist is passionate, it's like, oh yeah, okay, let's do it.
You Blue, you're too nice.
Man.
You're too nice.
No.
You're too nice.
No, I have a discernment too. Like,
Yo, that's crazy.
I have a discernment.
But that's nice of you though, that you give
Yeah.
people a chance to go in there and you give them the benefit of the doubt.
Of course.
Because I know producers that are like, yo, you're not coming in here unless I know what your message is. Like, unless I know, because I don't got time to spare. Because it's dope that you do that. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But I feel like, man, if I was a producer, like,
You know what it is too?
What is it?
A lot of times, there are engineers in the studio and they're not really, how do I say it? They don't give feedback. So it's kind of hard sometimes. An artist could be a really good artist, but if they don't have that support or if they don't have that energy behind them, it'll be harder for them to get out the record that they really want to create. So that's what I look at too, like who you working with and like, do you have a team? Because those things are important. Do you have a budget? Because as an artist on any level in any part of this business, you have to have a budget. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no way around it. So
yes, I'm letting you speak.
Yeah.
I want to yell, like, yeah, but,
yeah.
but just the facts of life, you know?
Respectfully, like, and I know sometimes artists take it offensive, like, what do you mean do I have a budget? Like, I, as a producer, have a budget. It's necessary because this costs money. Being here costs money.
Costs money. You got to pay the cost to be the boss, in the immortal words of James Brown.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Right or wrong?
Truth. Taxed. Okay.
OMG. I want to continue along these lines, but before I do, I just want to let everybody know the podcast is sponsored by OTW Threads, reminding you to be out of this world, and AttitudeOn10.com, your place to get over your trauma and build resilience. Now, as we move forward, I want to continue a little bit there because I want to know how you handle your business in the studio, because the split sheet situation is crazy. And a lot of these artists, you're leaving, you're not paying the producer. So you're not even leaving the session with the music. So can you discuss that a little bit? A little politics behind the music game?
So
when it comes to that?
Yeah. Like, once again, back to, who you decide to work with and who you have in your studio. I'm particular about that. After the first meeting, it takes a little while to get back in the studio because I need to find what our direction is going to be. I don't want you just there, like, being there. So,
and by direction, do you mean like the theme of the music or the theme of the project that you're trying to create?
If I'm the person for your project,
Copy.
Because sometimes people take on projects or work with artists just because they're there. But I may not be the best fit. I know a whole bunch of producers that may be a much better fit to what you really need. I might not be the sound that's going to take you where you need to go. Definitely not selfish, but it's one of those situations where, depending on what's going on with the artist and what they're trying to do, whether they're trying to release a project or if they're just trying to push one main record, will really determine how we go about the business side of it. I like to work with artists that, like I said, are very passionate, and I see them doing whatever it takes to take their music and their artistry to the next level. So I know for a fact that it won't fall on deaf ears. And that's the most important part to me, because you can make a million beats and a million artists could be on them, but if they fade, then you don't want your sound to fade too.
That's a fact.
Yeah. So, just really being conscious about who I work with. But as far as splits are concerned, we try to keep it like 50-50 with the artist, unless we're in a studio and we're like they're asking me for input on like lyrics and stuff like that, hooks. Then things get a little, the percentages start changing up a little bit. But
And why is that? Because I want you to explain to the because I meet artists that like they don't understand that lion. I mean, the animal that they're in, that they're messing with right now. You know what I
exactly.
mean? The arena they're in. You know what I'm saying?
So you think of a record like a pie, right? And, out of quote unquote fairness, whoever puts in whatever is basically what you get back. What you put in is what you get back. So offer it, if a record is 100 points, if I'm the producer and I have the artist with me, then that's half and half. I make the beat and they create the lyrics. Cool. But once they ask for my input about any lyrics on the thing that's supposed to be on their side of the pie, then that's when we start, deducting their side of the pie respectfully. And once again, any artist who believes in the record and understands the business of it wouldn't take it offensively.
I agree. You know what I mean? I mean, with all due respect, I handle my business before anybody sits down in this chair. They're fully aware of what's happening.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Because, we're not playing games here. This is a professional setting. You know what I'm saying? And I want to make sure that you're taken care of, that I'm taken care of, and there's no surprises.
Right. This is a business.
This is a business. It is. And I feel like people lose sight of that. And they forget that when you're not handling your side of the business, what's happening? You get more of your cut taken away from you.
Exactly. You have to be on top of your business.
Have you ever had issues with artists in this spectrum of the game?
Never.
Okay.
Never. I think, once again, because I have a certain type of discernment, and artists that are difficult, I veer. I stay away. It's okay. Maybe not now, maybe not, later, or maybe never. But there has to be a certain level of respect. If you respect what I do the same way I respect what you do, we shouldn't have any problems.
All right. Well, I respect that. I want to move to the next topic. We could talk about every topic for an hour or so, but we're gonna move into sync licensing. Well, sync licensing. Do you lease beats to artists? Like, how does that work for you? Like, what's your stance on that situation?
I don't lease beats to artists. I'm
Why
more
not?
so because I like to see my tracks grow. I feel like I know where to send it, or I know where to put it, or it will be divinely put in the hands that it needs to be in. It doesn't need to be all over. And then leases get really messy and mixy too, because people don't know how to do business properly, or they don't, once again, respect what you do. So you lease a beat to an artist, you tell them the lease is for a year or for 2 years, and then the lease expires, and then you tell them hey, you have to renew it. You have it here, there, everywhere else, or whatever. And it's just like a blow off type situation. And it's like, oh, okay, well, all right, I guess I'm gonna have to call my lawyer. Cease and desist.
Wow.
It's and I don't like doing that, because at the end of the day,
And you have a lawyer?
Yes, for
Okay.
sure.
Okay. Cool.
Yes. I have an entertainment lawyer that makes sure he dots every I and cross every T.
Nice.
But I have a certain discernment when it comes to artists, and if I feel like the energy isn't right, we could just part ways. It's fine.
Well, that's good to know. Thank you. I hope you folks out there listening that are in the game, learning a little something here. You know what I'm saying? On the Angel of Words podcast is real. We're with the producers now. We've had a lot of artists. Now we're talking to the people that make the music for you, because, we're going everywhere with it on the Angel of Words podcast. And it's important that you listen to a valid producer that's letting you know, like, this ain't a movie, dog. You know what I mean?
It's not.
Well, I want to jump into the equipment that you use. What's your favorite digital audio workstation? Your DAW. What's your favorite one? Like, what do you work out of mostly?
Okay. When I'm producing, it's Fruity Loops.
Copy.
When I'm engineering, like recording, mixing, and all that, it's Pro Tools. LEASE is Logic Pro.
Oh, wow.
It's Logic Pro. I love Logic Pro. Sorry, y'all.
Yeah. Well, I use the baby brother of Logic Pro, GarageBand, to do my audio here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel it's important, man. It's important to make sure that you're comfortable with a DAW. What makes the DAWs that you use, why are you so comfortable with FL?
So, interesting enough, I used to produce through Logic, but the workflow that I had at the time, it was just taking me too long.
Okay.
I used to use the machine beat pad, and I had like a special template that would like kind of route my sounds to different channels. But the drag and drop, it was taking too long. And I felt like, once again, it was taking away from my creativity. I was starting to lose beats. So I was like, no, I need to find something else. So I started watching other producers use Fruity Loops, and it seemed so seamless. And the sound quality was different. I don't know. I think it was like a PC thing, and I was just like predominantly on Mac. So I had used a friend's Fruity Loops one time on a PC, and I heard a kick one time, and I was sold. I was like, all right, I'm gonna just use Fruity Loops. I don't care what I have to do. I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna learn it because this sound is. I don't know what kind of sound engine they use, but it's worth it.
Okay, so
Yeah.
and then you just fell in love, and you were like, "Yo, this is where I gotta be all the time."
Yeah.
And then you run it. So you create your beat on Fruity Loops, then you run the engineering through Logic.
Nah, I actually mix everything on Fruity Loops. What I
Okay.
engineer is like when I'm recording the vocals. So
Okay.
once I make the beats and I send them out, and the artist, decides to use it, we go to the studio. They want to record.
Copy.
That's when I turn on Logic.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that workflow works best for you.
Yeah.
It's quick. It's nothing's quick. Let's not get these things twisted. Everybody thinks that this is like a microwavable situation, and I hope that you learn today that it's not a microwavable situation, but it makes your workflow easier.
Much simpler.
All right, cool. That sounds great, man. There you go. You should do some training videos, man. You know what I mean?
Should, right? How to make a template and stuff. Yeah.
Now, when it comes to the microphones that you use and stuff, when you're recording vocals, like, do you get upset like when people are recording off bad microphones? Does it matter to you? Like, how's that aspect when it comes to producing and mixing your stuff?
Every engineer knows the initial recording is everything. If you have a bad mic, it's over. Some can be salvaged, don't get me wrong, depending on your skills. But the better the intake audio, the better the output. So a very good mic is needed. And I'm a Newman girl.
We spoke about Newman last week. No,
Yeah,
Newmans
I'm a
are
fan.
valid, man. They're really valid. They get great audio when it comes to like, different ranges of vocals and things of that nature. They really know how to hone it in.
Even instruments, and you're not really supposed to like record instruments with it, but I had to one time in a session, and it went really well. So Newman's, they always get my vote. Top tier.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So Newman is your way to go.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man. All right. That's good to know. So you know what? We're going to drop a link down in the description for the Newman situation. You know what I'm saying? That way, if you want to go copy yourself a Newman, it'll be right there for you. You know what I mean? Because Bleu Wavs recommends it. You feel me?
Yes.
And just so you know, everyone, the podcast is sponsored by OTW Threads, reminding you to be out of this world, and AttitudeOn10.com, your place to get over your trauma and build resilience. Real quick, before we move forward, how much money do you think you've invested in yourself over the years? Because people, you got to understand it's not a game, dog.
Okay, so you think about computers, you think about like the hardware, the speakers, you think about the MIDI keyboards, the beat pads. Then you got to think about your image, how you look, because that's a part of who you are as an artist and all that. So, oh boy, since I started making music, close, I would say maybe like 60,000,
There you
70,000.
go.
I swear to God.
There you go. And you've been grinding, because I'm sure, you don't start off as a music producer, so you had to save your money with whatever job you had or whatever the case may be. Like, you know what I'm saying? Most of us don't start like, with like a loan. I mean, unless you got one. I mean, even if you did, you still got to pay that back, right or wrong?
You got to pay it back, but it's piece by piece. Just the computers without the software you need on it. A Mac is running what, like 2,000?
Easy, at least 3 Gs if you want the capabilities, if you're gonna be doing music on it.
Exactly, and same thing with PC. So it's like
Do you use Mac or PC?
Both.
Word, okay.
Yeah. So,
why is that?
So I use the PC for Fruity Loops because once again that original audio engine, I don't know what image line. Their engineers, they just top tier with it. Like Fruity Loops on PC, they go together.
All right, cool.
They go together. They gonna always go together.
All right,
you know.
Cool. All right.
And
that's good to know. Thank you for sharing that information. Yeah.
Like it works best on PC, and then of course Logic Pro works best on Mac. So that's why I have the two different systems. But just my computers alone are like 5,000-6,000. Nothing on it. No DAW, nothing.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's been a lot of money, and it's been a lot of time I've been in this game. It's probably more money than that.
How's the transfer situation when you're dropping stuff back and forth to the situations? Do you do that?
Yeah, so I basically like email tracks to myself.
Okay.
And I have different cloud storages.
Okay.
Just to, and then I have external hard drives.
Okay.
Because you can never have enough backups, ever.
Nah,
Ever. So I have like 4 different backups just to make sure I don't lose anything.
Wow, wow, okay. I know that some people are starting networks now and shit like that.
Yeah. They would call it a SharePoint.
Yeah.
But it's the easiest way to make sure you don't lose anything because, God forbid your laptop stops working right now. At least you have some sort of cloud storage, and say if that cloud storage has an issue at the moment, you got another one. And then, you go back to your email and stuff like that, and then you look in your archives, and then you got your tracks there too. So it's like just making sure you dot every I and cross every T because something's bound to mess up.
Real quick, my last question on this situation. When you go into the studio with artists, are you bringing in MP3s or are you opening up the sessions themselves?
Oh, we open up sessions, waves.
Yeah? All right.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
The best, my thing is as a producer, I always want to give an artist my best.
Copy.
So best quality is wave.
Okay.
So we opening up waves.
All right.
Full project.
Sounds good. All right, folks. And now we've reached a point in the podcast where it's time to play 5 Words with Angel. All right, on 5 Words with Angel, Blue Wavs, I'm going to ask you a word, phrase, or a question. You're going to give me the first word that comes to your head. Are you ready?
All right, let's do it.
I bet. The first one is a question. Favorite producers?
Kanye, Pharrell. Oh, Quincy Jones.
Okay.
Andre 3000.
Okay.
Oh gosh, Swizz. Come on, Big Bronx Energy.
Okay.
Shout out to TDI.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah, those are the ones.
That's what's up. All right,
yeah.
bet.
I actually have a Kanye and a Pharrell, like an NERD tat. Like, yeah, those are my 2 main.
Do you like the new stuff Kanye's doing?
Always.
So you're a fan, ride or die? Because I don't get wrapped up in I don't care about your personal life. I mean, unless, we have the things that happen with R. Kelly and things of that nature. But that's extreme.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't care about your domestic issues. Give me some good music. That's where I leave it at. I know how to differentiate between the two. I understand some people might not get jiggy with it. But for me personally, I just worry about what you're doing artistically. I like you as an artist. I keep it there with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like Kanye says, if you're a fan of me, you're a fan of yourself. And it's true. I feel like people who are fans of like Ye, and it's not so much about what he's doing in his life. It's just being true to self and following through with your word and your integrity. Knowing yourself and knowing your power. So yeah, as far as he's concerned.
You should have listened to Sway though. He's having the issues with Adidas now. But that's all right, man. You know what's gonna happen. He'll start another line. It'll go blow up.
He will.
They buy him. I really think that they buy into him and his swagger. You know what I'm saying? I feel like if he has the designs, he'll be fine.
Yeah, he let me tell you something. That's a different breed there. He figured out when it comes to manifesting, he figured out how to do it. Like whatever. I'm not saying that he doesn't experience losses, but very few and rare.
Yeah.
Very few and rare.
The guy made
the
himself
big
a
people.
billionaire, so you know what I mean. You know, I'm sure he could start over. I'm sure I'll be fine. I believe in Ye. You know what I'm saying? Just don't run for president, Ye. That's just too much nonsense there. You know what I mean? Stay away from the politics. My next word is DAW. What do you think about when you think about DAW?
Logic.
All right. My next word is sampling. What do you think about when you think about sampling?
Serato, top tier. Hello. Throw it in there.
What do you think about people sampling stuff and then throwing it out on, like, you know what I mean? Just sampling stuff and not clearing it, man.
Okay, so that. Okay. We're going to keep it professional here. We're going to keep it respectful. This is going back to what I was saying about respecting the genre. Stop taking people's stuff and not paying for it. It's not nice. I get it. We in a creative space, you want to see what a certain record is going to sound like. I have records that I've sampled certain artists, but I would never put it out with the intention to not respect them or respect the business that they do. And I feel like that's a problem sometimes, once again, with my genre. So excited about putting out the music that you forget to, give that love and attention and respect to the person you sampled it from. Major key, like, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Use responsibly, just like alcohol. You feel me?
Yeah. Yeah.
The next word is producer. What do you think about when you think about producer?
That's so crazy. When you said it, I thought of Dr. Dre. I guess because I messed him. I left him out by accident.
Oh, I could not. I mean, it's only been so many people, so many greats, what can you do,
Yeah.
But, I'll be honest with you, the first people that come to your head are the ones that influence you the most.
Really?
There's some people that pop into my head, too, that be like, oh, wow, I thought about them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I'm asking you and I'm thinking the same thing, and I'm not, I'm all over, I'm way out there with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, sort of like you forgot about me face, like, my bad.
All right, and the fifth one is an ad lib. You know what I mean? And shout out to TDI, Big Bronx Energy. What do you think about when you think about that Big Bronx Energy?
I think about growing up in the Bronx and how it's such a rose grew from concrete place. Like, really the most authentic parts of hip hop are there no matter what. Like, no matter the time, no matter the era, like the simple things, like Ice Spice just popping out of nowhere. Like, yeah, Big Bronx Energy. Yeah.
That's what's up,
yeah. It's something in the spirit. Like we got that thing. I don't know.
You really do. And shout out to my co-producer who's in the building today, made a cameo appearance, the musical director of the Angel of Words podcast. By the way, all the music made on the Angel of Words podcast and that you hear online is all original stuff because we don't steal.
Yes.
We make our own shit here on the Angel of Words podcast. So we definitely support the producer here on the Angel of Words podcast. And Bleu Wavs, give a message to the audience here. Let them know if they want to be a producer.
Listen,
what's your thoughts on that?
Anything you want to get into, if you want to be a producer, make sure you know your why. Make sure that you set your intentions and make sure you define your version of success. Because being in the business and looking at what other people have and what other people do can easily get you off track. So you got to be ready to put in the time. You got to be ready to sacrifice. You got to be ready to miss out. You have to be ready. If it's something that you really want, always stay true to self. Stay true to your sound.
Where can we find you, Blue? Where can we listen to your music? Actually, I wanted to tell you one last question. The fact that producers now have to come out as artists to put their music on Spotify.
Yeah.
I wanted to discuss that. So, first of all, let us know where we can find your music.
You can find my music on all DSPs under Bleu Wavs, spelled BLEUWAVS. All the DSPs, YouTube, everything. You can find me everywhere.
There you go. And now, why? Let people know real quickly, if you could do it like in a sentence or two, why you have to now, be out there as an artist on Spotify in order to get your stuff heard.
You're a brand. We're at the point in time where labels are just not the same anymore. And in order for you to get to the people that you want to get to, the artists that you want to get to, you have to brand yourself properly. And that's a part of it. Making sure your music is on certain DSPs and allowing people to hear your sound and determine whether they're a fit for you. Why not?
Well, Blue Wavs, thank you so much. I really appreciate the Big Bronx energy here on the Angel of Words podcast, folks. Don't forget, you can find us on YouTube. Don't be shy and tap on that notification bell. Tap that subscribe button, whatever it is that tells you that the Angel of Words podcast is on. It's Saturday morning, 11 a.m., like the cartoons. Also, we're on Spotify. It does the same thing, and they take care of us. So if you're a Spotify user, please click on the podcast because we appreciate it here. Also, don't forget, shout out to the sponsors, AttitudeOn10.com, your place to get over your trauma and build resilience. OTW Threads, Out of This World Threads, reminding you to be out of this world. If you want to know how to make your own podcast, those videos will be coming out. And we also have the exclusive blog on AOWENT.com. My social media is at Angel of Words ENT. And don't forget to click down in the description below if you want to purchase stuff to start your own podcast and get your voice heard. This is Angel of Words. Talk to you later. Te quiero, Puerto Rico. Santa Isabel. Live from the Angel of Words studios, we welcome back one of our former guests singing one of my favorite tracks, Bony with Tóxica.
B-O-M-Y. Dice. Ooh, your sex is on fire. Eres mi maldición. Ay, tú eres una de esas tóxicas, mi perfecta adición. Ooh, your sex is on fire. Eres mi maldición. Ay, tú eres una de esas tóxicas, mi perfecta adición. Yo, sigue atrapado en mi cabeza. Ya yo he peleado con mi corazón. Es un conflicto en mi conciencia. Ya no te guardo más promesas. Sigue atrapado en mi cabeza. Ya yo he peleado con mi corazón. Es un conflicto en mi conciencia. Ya no te guardo más promesas. Whoa, whoa. Baby girl, you must be wicked. I swear your love was different. No te saco mi cabeza. I just don't know how to fix it. La verdad que yo ni me conozco. Yo me pierdo cuando yo te toco. Ay, tú eres un arte. Y la manera que tú gritas no lo haces. Tú me dices soy tu droga pa' quemarte. Sin sentimiento que de ti yo quiero clase para pasarte. Ay, tú eres un arte. Y la manera que tú gritas no lo haces. Ay, tú me dices soy tu droga pa' quemarte. Sin sentimiento que de ti yo quiero clase para pasarte. Falla, eres mi maldición. Ay, tú eres una de esas tóxicas, mi perfecta adición. Your sex is on fire. Eres mi maldición. Ay, tú eres una de esas tóxicas, mi perfecta adición. Dice. Sigue atrapado en mi cabeza. Sigue atrapado en mi cabeza. Ya yo he peleado con mi corazón. Es un conflicto en mi conciencia. Es un conflicto en mi conciencia. No te guardo más promesas. Sigue atrapado en mi cabeza. Ya yo he peleado con mi corazón. Es un conflicto en mi conciencia. Es un conflicto en mi conciencia. No te guardo más promesas. No te guardo más promesas. Y el amor es pasajero. Algunas veces que se queda. Algunas veces que se queda. Ni que yo fuera Raulín. Y ni que tú fueras Nereida. Existen una en un millón. Ay, tú eres una vez en la vida. Baby, you got me in my feelings. Ahora me hiciste brujería. Ay, yo no sé si te lo han dicho, pero tu sexo queda invicto cuando lo hacemos en la cama. Por poco dicen que me amas.
Y por poco me lo creo. Angel of Word Podcast, BONY. You already know, man.
My man just killed it. Yo, your sex is all fire. You already know Angel of Words here with Bony. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe. Te quiero, Puerto Rico, Santa Isabel.